Hey, this is Erika Awakening from TapSmarter.com, and welcome back to day 13 of the World Peace Challenge. So today we're going to address the issue, I can only change myself. And the most important thing for you to understand from this video is that that is simply not true. So holistic belief reprogramming, which is my coaching system, we understand that the universe is actually a hologram and all parts contain the whole. And what that means is that by changing ourselves, we can change everyone. But to the extent that we believe that other people are immune to change, just because we change, we're going to feel very, very small and powerless. So let's just take a not very charged, well, it depends who you are, example here. So the example would be recycling, right? So the last few years I've become a lot more conscious about recycling when I can, which is most of the time. I definitely have a lot less trash now. But if I were to believe that I'm just one person among billions and I recycle and that doesn't make much of a difference, well then, first of all, I probably wouldn't have been motivated to do it, because that's where that apathy comes in again that we talked about in video number 3. And secondly, it just wouldn't make that much difference. I mean, one person among billions recycling just doesn't matter. But you see, now when I recycle, I do it with a different consciousness. And I realize that the more willing I am to change my own practices, my consciousness extends outwards to other people. So if I'm committed to recycling as much as I can, I'm well aware that other people's minds are joined with me and they are also going to recycle more. Same thing with not eating meat, right? I mean, I could justify eating meat by, well, if I change my practices, that's just one person. It's not going to do much for the animals on the planet. But I know that's not true. I know that when I'm committed to not eating meat, and by the way, I just ate a little tiny bit yesterday, and I haven't had any for quite a long time now. We're moving on to 2 years of vegetarianism, and it didn't feel good, it didn't taste good, I didn't want it, so it just confirmed the whole decision to stop eating meat. But I'm well aware that I'm part of a global consciousness, and the more of us commit to ethical eating practices, the more other people will do the same. So it's really important to realize that it's not true. Your decisions are not made in a vacuum. Everything you do for healing is healing lots and lots of other people. So let's go on Karate Chop and we'll address some of the common misperceptions about free will and so forth. Alright, let's go on Karate Chop. Even though it's sometimes difficult for me to get motivated to do any good in this world, maybe I resist recycling. Maybe I'm not very conscious about my eating habits. Maybe I think I cannot resolve conflicts with people who don't want to talk to me right now, because I'm still believing that my mind is separate from other people. I can only change me. I can only change my own mind. I can only change my own practices. I can't change anybody else. In fact, I shouldn't try to change anyone else, because I perceive that as a violation of their choice and free will. What if that's not true? What if my mind is joined with their mind? I'm at least going to be open to more possibilities. Alright, let's go on the top of your head. Even though my ego mind does not want me to question this deeply ingrained belief that my mind is separate from other minds and I can't change other people. In fact, I took vows with the ego. Got itchy. That I don't even remember. That I would never even raise these beliefs to question. And maybe when I have tried to change other people, I've punished myself for trying to do that. Because if I suddenly realized that I can change all minds just by changing my own mind, the world would be instantly healed. The dream of separation would be over. I'd have to give up all my illusions. And the ego doesn't want that. So I have to keep believing that there are separate minds out there in the world that are beyond my control. And I can only change myself. This is actually a very scary idea. And I should know it's wrong by how fearful it is. Because if my mind has no influence on all the minds out there that I perceive to be evil, the terrorists, the governments who abuse their power, the murderers and the rapists, the people who commit robbery and fraud, the people who take all the wealth and leave nothing for the rest of humanity, all the supposed conspiracies out there. If it were really true that I have no influence over those minds, then world peace would be hopeless. All I could do is change myself and maybe persuade a few other people who probably already thought a lot like me in the first place. And that's it. Everything else would be at the mercy of forces I cannot control. So I'd better hope I'm wrong about this, because otherwise there's not going to be any world peace. I'm ready to be more powerful about this. Alright, take a deep breath. See what's coming up. There are some fear, and what I also notice coming up is guilt. Okay? Now, fear and guilt are always signs that the ego is activated. Because if you didn't have ego, you wouldn't have those emotions. So, guilt here is guilt over really owning our power. And then there's also fear of I don't want all the responsibility. And the ego will try to persuade you that those emotions are legitimate and that you should feel guilty influencing other people with your mind. But as we discovered in that tapping sequence, think about the alternative. You really want to feel guilty about this and allow the illusion to continue that there are evildoers out there over whom you have no control? Course in Miracles gives us the answer to this by letting us know that everything is a creation of our mind. So you're already making their choices anyway. Yeah. Okay? By your perception of them. You might as well have them make choices that serve the highest good of everyone, instead of choices that don't serve anyone. Right? This is advanced stuff. This is what I teach in my private coaching program. So that's as far as we're going to go in terms of explaining it. I would just ask you to trust the process. If you want to learn more, then sign up with me, tapsmarter.com/coaching. Okay? Let's go on karate chop. Even though I've been taught my whole life that I can only change myself, and I actually feel very guilty if I try to change anybody else. Even healers put these restrictions on themselves, saying they can't heal someone because of the other person's free will. But if that were true, there'd be no hope. How can anyone have free will not to be healed? The ego made it very convincing. I'm not even sure I want that much power. I don't trust myself with that much power. I've made bad decisions when I had power. I'd rather be a victim. I love and accept myself anyway. Let's go on the top of your head. If I defend myself, I am attacked. Who would defend himself unless he thought he were attacked? That the attack were real, and that his own defense could save himself. And herein lies the folly of defense. It gives illusions full reality, and then attempts to handle them as real. It adds illusions to illusions, thus making correction doubly difficult. And it is this you do when you attempt to plan the future, activate the past, or organize the present as you wish. You operate from the belief you must protect yourself from what is happening because it must contain what threatens you. No one walks the world in armature, but must have terror striking at his heart. A healed mind does not plan. It carries out the plans that it receives through listening. to wisdom that is not its own. It waits until it has been taught what should be done, and then proceeds to do it. It does not depend upon itself for anything except its adequacy to fulfill the plans assigned to it. It is secure in certainty that obstacles cannot impede its progress to accomplishment of any goal that serves the greater plan established for the good of everyone. I am blessed as a son of God. I am happy, peaceful, loving, and contented. I am blessed as a son of God. I am calm, quiet, assured, and confident. Only salvation can be said to cure. Speak to us, Father, that we may be healed. My mind holds only what I think with God. It can be only myself I crucify. It can be only my gratitude I earn. There is no free will. You will be free of the insane belief that to attack a brother saves yourself. And you will understand his safety is your own. And in his healing are you healed. Thus do you also teach your mind that you are not an ego. Now do we come to him with only his word upon our minds and hearts, and wait for him to take the step to us that he has told us through his voice he would not fail to take when we invited him. He has not left his Son in all his madness, nor betrayed his trust in him. Has not his faithfulness earned him the invitation that he seeks to make us happy? We will offer it, and it will be accepted. Now is the time of prophecy fulfilled. Now are all ancient promises upheld and fully kept. No step remains for time to separate from its accomplishment. For now we cannot fail. Sit silently and wait upon your Father. He has willed to come to you when you have recognized it is your will he do so. And you could never have come this far unless you saw, however dimly, that it is your will. Alright, deep breath. How's that feel? It was an interesting passage that opened there, because I found myself saying words in this video and I was like, oh man, this is going to be so controversial. I'm going to get criticized, blah, 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 for saying free will is a bunch of baloney. And then it was that passage that opened about just trusting the instructions that come to you, which I'm doing in this challenge, even though I realize we're saying a lot of things in this challenge that go against all the beliefs of the world. Well, there's not going to be world peace unless we let go of all the beliefs of the world, because the beliefs of the world are why we don't have it already. So I'm just going to trust my guidance, and we're going to keep going. Thank you for being here. As always, ask questions on the forum, tapsmarter.com/forum. If you want to really get in touch with your power, I have a really amazing 30-day personal power challenge, which is at tapsmarter.com/power. It's one of the more powerful products I've ever created, and pretty much everyone who's really committed to it has had a big quantum shift in their life from doing it. tapsmarter.com/power. Alright, this is Erika Awakening, and I'll see you next time. Take care.